Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. For today's episode, I want to talk about the best free agents remaining. I know the Miami Heat aren't going to sign anybody on this list because we're $1 to $2 million away from the second apron. We have 14 um, players on our roster. We do have one spot available, and I still don't think we're going to be able to afford any of these guys because even signing one of them to a veterans minimum contract at $3 million will put us in the second apron, and we know the penalties for that. So this is not going to impact the Miami Heat, but I still just want to talk about these free agents, perhaps, and why they're still on the market. But the one guy on the list that I think is interesting is Evan Fournier. So we all know that he's playing right now with France in the Olympics, and he's been playing really good. He's one of their best players outside of Wemby, of course. And I think, is their third leading scorer on the team currently. So we know that Fournier hasn't played much in the last few years with the Knicks and the Pistons. Fournier played only 27 games in 2022 and just 29 or 30 games in 2023 before he was traded to the Detroit Pistons, where he did make 29 appearances last season. Thibodeau clearly didn't want to play him. He didn't make sense in the rotation. I think defensively he's a liability. But I still think he has something left in the tank. Like we're seeing it in France or in the Olympics right now in France. But I'm just surprised that he hasn't had an opportunity to play at all because he still is a good scoring threat. Just 1 year before his minutes were slashed, Fournier started 80 games for the Knicks. He averaged 14 points per game, shot 38.9% from three. For his career, is a 37.4% three-point shooter. So outside of shooting alone, that's pretty much one of his biggest things that he can bring to a roster. And I think he should get an opportunity. Like he's playing big minutes on this huge stage right now in the Olympics. And I think a team should give him an opportunity to showcase his scoring ability. I mean, what teams couldn't use him for 10 to 15 minutes off the bench? I think he would be a good fit for specific teams. I thought he could be a good fit for this Miami Heat team last season, potentially as a buyout candidate, but it didn't work out for him. The other player that I think is interesting on this free agent list is Lonnie Walker. He is 25 years old, so he's still really young. Most recently played with the Brooklyn, the Nets, and he averaged a career high 1.8 threes last season, shot 38% from deep, which is good. When he was on the floor, the Nets were a plus 0.2 points per 100 possessions, compared to a minus 4.1 when he was off. But the Nets, sucked. They were horrible. Walker definitely showed the ability last season to get to the basket or hit his catch and shoot threes. Those are skill sets that could definitely translate to a contender. So someone who's a catch and shoot off ball player, someone who has been clutch when he was on the Lakers, I remember, had some clutch playoff performances at a young age, is someone that could be, again, a good asset to a team. He's only 25, actually, or 26, average 10 points per game with the Brooklyn Nets last season, 2 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 0.6 steals, and again, 38% from 3 on 4.7 attempts. He was someone that I was thinking could be a good fit for this Miami Heat team off the bench as well, but we went with Alec Burks instead, which is totally fine. The other player I think is interesting on this list is Isaac Okoro. He's only 23 years old. He's on the Cavaliers. He's coming off a season in which he shot 39.1% from three. He has a 6'9" wingspan. So he is a 3-and-D upside young player for whatever reason. I don't know why. Those factors don't seem to have sold the Cavaliers on the possibility of bringing him back. I think he was making like $8 million or so last season, so they aren't interested in whatever range of salary he's looking for. I don't think he's looking to take a minimum right now, and I don't think he should. For someone of his age and his ability to hit the three like he did on 3 attempts only, that's not a high level, but still 39% is really good. Did average a steal and half a block per game. So pretty good for someone who is young and a guard. But again, someone that could have fit into this Miami Heat system. So anyway, those are the three guys that I think are interesting right now. There's other guys like Markel Fultz that are still available, Dennis Smith Jr., and a few other players, Chetty Osman. There are some good, decent players that are just not getting any interest right now for some reason. But the three I mentioned, I think, are pretty interesting, and I'm hoping one of those guys will sign with the team soon. So let me know which one of those three do you think are the best available free agents.